if we brought Frankie in and we, started our show with Unscripted, which then, over time developed into the platform we have here with the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, and then going into the afternoon show. So it's been a wild journey. And for me, it started there, with Mac and everything. And, I thank him and I thank Linda for all that they've done to help my career to kind of get it off the ground in a way. In fact, Jay, you remember we called Linda and Mac actually asked for us to do a couple of shows where we would do live coverage of football games. We did a couple of shows with that many years ago. They did some live independent football. And if you want to watch some entertainment, yeah, me and Jay did some live commentary for some independent football up there in Connecticut years and years ago. So if you want to get entertainment, go back in the archives and check that out. But that was cool though, because that was the first time that myself or Jay had done any kind of live commentary like that, actual commentary, virtual, and it was a neat experience, very fun. But just Mac as a person, he was just like I said, smart as could be, knew his stuff, was a historian, right? You couldn't really debate him on a whole lot of topics, because 9 times out of 10 he'd get the upper hand, right? Because that's the thing, he wasn't even book smart in a way. He would just watch so much old film on whether it be baseball or football, or the guy was a big boxing fan as well. So he would know all the major boxers coming through the Northeast, and knew all the records and whatnot, and all the big title fights. So he was, just as much of a great kind of sports historian and sports content creator, just a great guy overall, just a really good dude who would reach out and see if he needed help, to see, if like, hey, what can I do, or what can anyone else here on the network do to make you better, to make the show better. And, like I said, you couldn't talk about Mac without talking about Linda as well. And, like Frankie said, we send our hearts and condolences out to Linda, because she has done so much for, not just Mac over the many, many years they were together, but also just for the National Streaming Sports Network, which they've rebranded to, with all the shows they brought on, all the great talent they have over there still. And, it's like Jay said, it's like Frankie said, if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for, Mac and Linda McGrath, there wouldn't be a show. There wouldn't be an afternoon show today. So like I said, we pay tribute to Mac and all the great moments he had on the show, with his network and just in life. It's unfortunate we lost him, but like Jay said, he's up there right now watching the show, and we're going to meet him once again one day, shake his hand. And Jay, I know he's gonna get you for being a Cowboys fan. He'll give you a little smirk once he sees you, and then he'll let you in. He said, all right, come on in, have a drink with me. But like I said, we're going to miss Mac. He's a great guy in the sports world here. And like I said, Linda, if you're out there, if you're watching us, the 3 of us and anyone else here on the network will help out. We can, any way we can. And, we know your heart's hurting right now. So we're here to help any way possible. So
I know Mac is laughing at all of us right now from heaven.
Oh, he said, you guys are wimps. Yeah.
He's up there right now saying, hey, yeah, my Knicks are playing tonight in round 2, and we're all eliminated. We're in Cancun.
That's it. We're in Cancun, baby. Oh, but what we'll do now is we'll play a short little 40-second video, just paying tribute to Mac one more time before we talk about the NBA playoffs. We're going to bring in Tony and Chris Gonzalez, as well as Big Glenn. So one final time, let's pay tributes to the late Mac McGrath.
I'm Mac McGrath, CEO of National Streaming Sports, and I'm excited to tell you about our Roku Sports channel. Already has over 12,000 followers, 20 podcasts, over 70 weekly shows, and a 3.4-star rating. Our channel is anchored by great morning shows, afternoon shows, and nighttime shows, with great shows in between.
I will always remember my first intro when I became a podcaster.
Yeah.
And it will be the voice of Max.
Yeah.
Saying, you're now listening to Frankie C Sports here on Northeast Streaming Sports.
That's it. That's how. Hey, that got your juices flowing. That got you ready.
Yeah, it did.
Hey, well, let's get it going here. Let's bring in the rest of the cast and crew here in the afternoon show. talk some basketball, talk some NBA playoffs today. Of course, we got the dynamic duo of Tony and Chris Gonzalez. Guys, how's it going? Did you have a good weekend? Oh, hold on. We got you muted here. Wait. There we go.
Going pretty good. Especially after yesterday and the Pacers.
Yeah, I'm about to say we'll talk all about that here in just a moment. And Big Glenn, also, like I said, big Pacers fan, but also Glenn, also by the way, we saw that you were at the Fever game, the preseason game, this past weekend, man. So how was your weekend? I know you were pretty busy.
The weekend was great, man. Fever took care of business overtime on Saturday, and I just know that the fill house for the Fever this summer is going to be crazy once again.
All right, and Jay, I'll kick it back to you, man. What game do you want to talk about first? What game do you want?
We'll start off with the lucky. You know what? No, we'll wait. Let's give all the accolades to the Pacers.
We'll get out the way.
That is the start of a new series. So let's start off with the Rockets. That way we can end that segment of the round, and then we'll start the semi with the Pacers game. So to wrap up that divisional round, yeah, man, 103-89. I tip my hat to Golden State. I really tip my hat to Buddy Hield. I really felt like Buddy Hield was the guy that propelled this team into the win. The guy came out and was lights out from three-point range. Steph Curry really wasn't too much of a factor in the first half. He became a factor in the second half when he started lighting it up. Draymond Green did Draymond Green, right? He actually hit 2 3-pointers himself, played some pretty good defense on us. But I got to be honest with you guys, and Tony, you know, we said this numerous times, points in the paint. That was number one, which we did a little bit of, but not a whole lot of. Secondly was the three-point line. Oh, my God. Why are we still trying to shoot up that many threes when we're not a three-point shooting team? I will never understand. And then thirdly was the free throws. We were still struggling to make free throws, and those ultimately were the issues that cost us the game. I think our field goal percentage was just under 40%. You know, you can't win a game shooting 40%, under 40%. You can't win a game when you're not making free throws. We rebounded pretty decently. And for the most part, everybody went to the paint with the exception of the one guy that's our leading, quote-unquote, leading scorer, Jalen Green. Jalen Green hardly even went to the paint. Didn't even want to touch the paint a whole lot. And that's an issue for me, Logan. It's an issue for me because now I'm wondering, you know, Stephen A. said, well, you know, Jalen Green should really be packing his bags. I think his time in Houston are done. And I got to be honest with you. I don't care how good of a scorer you are in the regular season. If it doesn't translate to the postseason, it really doesn't mean a damn. And I got to be honest with you. If he can't start learning to do his game and start being a producer, because let's be honest, Jalen Green got 38 points in that series, but that 38 points came with them not having Jimmy Butler, right? So you can say he got garbage points in a way because Jimmy Butler wasn't on the court. Because when Jimmy Butler was on the court, the best he got was 11 points. It was mostly 8 points, 9 points, whatever. Garbage points you want to give Jalen Green. And that's a problem for me, Logan. That's a huge problem for me. And, you know, I don't think necessarily that the Rockets need a superstar. We don't need a superstar. But we do need a good, consistent three-ball shooter. We need somebody who can actually hit the three-ball on a consistent basis, but we really got to work on our free throws. But with that being said, you know, the Rockets, up until I think the last 3 or 4 minutes of that game, were really in there to the point even Frankie said, hey, your boys battle back. They're showing some fight, and they were. But it only went so far because I think mentally they were just done, I think, towards the last 3 minutes of that game, especially when Steph Curry finally did show up and he knocked down a couple of threes. I think Buddy knocked down a 3 and just really kind of put that game out of reach. But I got to be honest with you. At the end of the day, there's a couple of key things, and I'm going to wrap up the division around on my side from this. Is number one, most of our guys are 22 years old or less. That means they're barely out of college or in college, right? So we got a super young team with a couple of veterans sprinkled in. And the fact that we pushed it to 7 games, right? The fact that we went 7, and the fact that they didn't give up, they didn't lay down, they continued to fight, that shows me a lot going into next season. And I'm sorry, Amin Thompson, you are a dog, sir. You are a legit dog. That was. If you watched Amen Thompson in that game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That guy was all over the place defensively. He was killing them defensively. He was getting rebounds. I think he had like over 25, 26 points. And then he had, I think, one or two steals, and he had like one or two blocks. I mean, he was really, for a guy that's 22 years old, only his second year in the league, and he's doing this. And on the biggest of stages against Steph Curry and Butler and Draymond and everybody else, that says a lot to me. This whole team says a lot to me. And the fact that we went 7 games against the Golden State Warriors, which, let's be honest, they're not really a 7th seed. With Jimmy Butler added to that team, they were probably more like a 2 seed to me. And I think the Rockets were probably more like a 3 or 4 seed. If you really had Jimmy Butler the whole season, I think that's probably the way it would have panned out. So I feel good going into next season, Logan. And that's the one thing I take away from it is I feel good going into it. Unlike Frankie, who got bounced out in game 5 or 6 and really doesn't have a pot to piss in going into next year. So I just want to say that I'm good. Next.
I'll give my thoughts on the final game 7. Like you said, I think with Jimmy Butler on that team, that really turned their season around. Let's be real here. Because, whenever he got traded to Golden State, a lot of people were, under the impression of, either that's going to kill their locker room because of, the whole situation with him in Miami, or it's going to elevate them. And I also think, having Steve Kerr as a head coach, a guy who was a great player, right? Won many championships with the Bulls and whatnot, Spurs. And then you bring him over to the Warriors, who he's done a great job there. One of the best coaches in that franchise's history, honestly, just with the success alone. And you couple all that with a hyper competitive Jimmy Butler, as well as Steph Curry and Draymond Green. You have a dangerous team, right? The thing with the Rockets, and also Joe, how you doing today? Glad you can stop by the show. The thing with the Rockets, Jay, man, you didn't mention, I don't believe, is Sengun, the center. Love that guy. He does some good work for y'all. And like I said, super young. I believe he's been in the league for maybe 2 seasons.
He's 22 as well.
Yeah, he's drafted. Yeah, he's drafted in 21. He's in his 3rd season. So he's getting better and better, which is scary. Because even though, like I said, he did lose, the Rockets as a whole did lose. He still managed to put up a double-double, right? 21 and 14. He wasn't even that efficient shooting, just 9 to 23. If he was more efficient with his shot, that might be able to, that could have been the turning point in the ball game. But that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes your shot just doesn't drop. That's just how the league goes. Like I said, I thought that, like I said, he was a bright spot. Van Fleet, really, pretty much the whole series, especially towards the latter half. Not in game 6, he was your big factor for why y'all won that game. Leading scorer, and of course he did some good work, right? 6 of 13 for 17 points, 7 rebounds for him. So you can't ask a whole lot more for that. Dylan Brooks is your defensive guy. He's going to get you points here and there, but he's more so just to disrupt and to get steals and blocks and whatnot. But I like, Amen Thompson, also his twin brother, Asher, who does some good work with the Pistons we saw earlier in the playoffs. I think that, as a core, Houston has a really good young core. But I think, and Jay, I'm going to relate it to the Hawks here. It's a very young core, right? But you have to build around it with veterans. You got to get better shooters. And my team's in Cancun, and I got a spot for you now. But you still made it a lot further than my team did. But I think that, for Golden State, they shot just the lights out, right? 47, nearly 48% from just the field, and nearly 42% from 3. I mean, you can't get a whole lot better than that. It's tough to stop that, especially if your shots aren't hitting. But like I said, I thought this was a very good series as a whole. We didn't know if Jimmy Butler was going to come back because of that insane fall he took, and I'm sure he's still dinged up, but he still looked good. Like I said, he wasn't as Jimmy Butler as we've seen before, but he still got the job done. He got 20 points still, 7 of 13. You take that any day of the week, and like I said, Buddy Hield, leading scorer. Sometimes, man, it's the guy you don't expect that could be the killer, and that's what Buddy Hield was, because we know if he gets hot. I mean, Glenn, Tony, Chris, y'all know he played for the Pacers for a little bit. He can get some good work, and if he gets hot, if anyone gets hot in the league, good luck trying to stop that shot. Let alone a guy who former number 1 overall pick, sharpshooter at times. So, I thought Golden State had a good strategy, and Jay, they almost blew another 3-1 lead. They almost got it, but it was not the case, and they're moving on. And Houston bowing out with grace and a really good opening series here. But I'll kick it over to I guess we'll go to Frankie next, just top of the list here.
Before I go, I'm gonna go ahead and mute Jay so that way he don't interrupt me like he always does. Because the rest of us here, we show respect, right? We don't talk when Jay talks. So I had to mute him because I know for a fact he will talk. But listen, the Rockets, they're a good team, Jay. No doubt about it. Your team, they're young, they're good. But I feel like that's what happened, was the youngness against the experience, right? And that's basically what got to Houston at the end. You guys literally brought the game back to within 3 points with like 5 to 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I'm over here thinking, wow, Golden State just blew it. Like, I thought Houston was going to come back and win it. But then what happened? They hit like 3 threes in a row. First with Jimmy Butler hitting a corner 3, followed by a Buddy Hield 3 at the other far corner, and then Steph Curry coming with his little insane, oh, somebody's in my face, let me go ahead and splash this 3 real quick. And that's what ended up, putting the Golden State Warriors back in the lead. I feel like the big thing that lost the game for the Houston Rockets was the free throws, and Jay did mention that, because you guys did have, I think, about over 20 attempts at the free throw line and made about like 16 or 17. You need to make those free throws, because if you would have made, if you would have went perfect from the line, this game would have been a lot closer than what it was on at the final stretch. But yeah, I think like Jay said, once it hit like 3 minutes, 4 minutes or something like that, or a little bit under 3 minutes, you could see it in the Houston Rockets, face and their play style and everything. Like, they just gave up. I felt like they just said, the hell with it. We did what we could do. We brought them to 7 games. We gave them a hell of a fight. We almost had it, but they're too far ahead. We're running down on time. They knew that it was over. Steph Curry knew it was over. You got to tip your hats off to the Houston Rockets. You got to tip your hat off to the Golden State Warriors. But I'm just glad that Houston is finally out. And Jay, I told you yesterday that I told the front desk lady that you had your bags packed and you were going to be here by the afternoon time. And hey, isn't it beautiful and isn't it sunny here in Cancun with these beautiful margaritas, baby? Tony and Chris, you guys want to go ahead and give your thoughts on that game?
Definitely. One thing that's kind of that I seen in the 4 games that Golden State won, they had a different player step up other than Steph and Butler. The games they won, the game that they lost, they didn't have that. And Hield stepped up this game, and I think that's the big reason why they won. The other thing, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like Houston's game plan. I mean, what got them last 2 games, it was going into the paint, and they didn't do it that much this game. Not like they had the other 2 games. And they tried, like Jay said, they tried to shoot the 3 too much. And I didn't like the game plan. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think I got outcoached in that last game. That's my opinion, man. I was watching Golden State's coach over there, man. He was coaching. He was over on his team. I think it made a difference. Don't get me wrong. Houston's got a very good team. They will be back in the playoffs. They'll probably playing in the next couple of years, playing in a conference final, if not a overall finals. They're that good. So I mean, I like watching Houston. I think they got a good team. Just need to get a couple of players probably. I seen all over TV today talking about Durant. I heard their general manager, or either I don't know if it was general manager or the owner, said they didn't want to go out and get a guy that's in their 30s. They want to keep a young core. Now, of course, things can change. You know how that goes. If you get an opportunity, that can always change. But I thought Houston's got a good team, and they showed a lot of heart coming back. I just didn't care for the game plan in this game. Yes.
Yeah, to me, it comes back down to what I've been saying. They got to get some shooters on that team. If they can't get in the paint and get layups, they struggle to score. They don't. And I'm not just talking about threes. They just don't have any guy that really has a mid-range jumper. And if you look at their thing, they play too much one-on-one ball. Houston only had 14 assists in that whole game last night. And the way the NBA's played now, if you look at the top teams like OKC, the Cavs, the Celtics, the Pacers, a lot of these teams, you're getting 25, 30 assists in that because they have so many different guys on the team that can shoot the ball and the ball's moving. We watched Houston last night. To me, it was a lot of isolation ball, and I think that fed right into Golden State. But so to me, they got to get some more shooters on that team is their big thing. And then if the Rockets are known for their physicality and defense, you can't let Golden State shoot almost 50% from the field and over 40% from 3-point range. If you do, you're not going to win many games against the Warriors. And like 3-pointers wise, Rockets only shot 18 the whole game. So that's not a whole lot in the NBA anymore compared. Golden State shot 43.
Yeah.
So I just think they got to get more shooters on the team because if you get them in half court, the Rockets can struggle to score.
And you're talking about assists. Perfect example, Golden State had 24 assists. So that's your point. They had 10 more assists than what Houston had.
Yeah.
Hey, you see here, Rockets in 7, but he ain't losing.
Don't put that up. He's taking my joke. He's taking my Friday joke.
Okay.
Yeah, he's taking my Friday joke.
Okay. He's not. I don't know about. He's rehashing it. Is that better?
You got to understand. He's in Italy, so it's like time differential, So he's a little slow over there in Italy.
Yeah, he's still. The game's still in the third quarter out there, right?
I actually think that he just got on his flight and he's on his way to Cancun already. Well, Jay is right here next to me. Nobody could see me next to Jay, but Jay's sitting right next to me. I actually told Jay a little 2 minutes ago while Tony was talking. I said, Jay, go check out that hammock, bro. I think you'll fall asleep on there.
Jay's gonna have a nice little margarita in his hand.
Are you and Jay holding hands?
We are. We're holding hands like we're in what do you call it? Saudi.
Yeah.
Glenn, before I let you go on the Rockets,
the
Rockets and Warriors, I just want to ask real quick to Jay, Tony, Logan, and Chris, that Fred VanVleet is on a team option for the Houston Rockets next year, which I think the money value is about $44 million or something like that for next year. Do you see the Houston Rockets picking up that value? Because Tony did say that, the GM of Houston doesn't want anybody in their 30s because they like a young core team. VanVleet will be 32 come next year. Do they take that player option, or do you think he deserves a long time contract with the Rockets for what he performed in the playoffs?
That's a tough call for me. I think, like I said, you want to keep him, but you don't want to sign him for too long, right? Because for the most part, guys play starts dropping off after that 34 whatever-ish range. So I remember when he signed in Houston, we were all like, the hell are you doing signing in Houston? But it worked. It worked. They had a vision and it paid out. What they might do, Frankie, is they might go with the player option for one season, see how he does, see if he can continue, right, to play how he is. If it works out, then you give him a contract for, what do you say, Jay? Maybe 2 years, give or take, in his career, 35, 36.
I would say, I think realistically, I think the Rockets will want to give him probably a 3-year. I don't think it's going to be anything longer than that. I think 3 years at the most, which will put him at 35 years old. I think they give him a 3-year deal, and I think that's pretty much going to be it. And I think during that 3, because he's still a really good floor general. He still is a leader on that team. I mean, he really does talk a lot to those guys and speaks a lot to those guys. And so I think that Fred VanVleet, I also think Steven Adams will get picked up. Again, I think Steve was on a 1 year. I think they're going to give Steven another contract extension because he worked really well. But he works really well with Sagoon when they're on the floor together. Steven Adams actually did a really good job, I thought, against Golden State in terms of rebounding and defense and things of that nature. So I do think those two guys, Jeff Green, I think will be gone. I think maybe Dylan Brooks, he may or may not be gone. But I do think at some point they're going to look for that veteran that can shoot the 3 ball. I think to what Tony was saying maybe a minute ago, and get that, or maybe even Gonzo was saying that they need a guy that can shoot the 3. So maybe they need a guy like, Jimmy Butler's going to be up for contract. I think he's got 1 more year left on his contract, and then he'll be up. I fully expect Jimmy Butler to stay with Golden State. I don't think he leaves Golden State, but if he did, or if he did entertain offers, I think Houston would be a good fit for a guy like Jimmy Butler, honestly.
Well, Chris said he said you guys don't even need a 3-point shooter. You just need a shooter. Like you guys don't even have a mid-range.
I got you.
I
not
you know,
bad idea.
I get what you're saying, but
Yeah,
I don't think they should keep Van Fleet. I really don't. I think that's way too much money, 44 million for that guy. I get what he's done for you guys in the playoffs, and I get that he's that guy that, you know, speak up to the young guys because, you know, he is an NBA champion. So he has that mentality and that say so. But just for you guys are young, so I feel like you guys could like go and try and make something with the, like, you know, maybe do take up on that contract, but then put him on the trade market to try and get younger. I don't know. That's, you know, that's on my team. I'm not the general manager. I'm just saying that's my theory. Chris and Tony, you think that they should pick up that team option?
That's tough. It depends on. I think you look at the market and see if there's an upgrade out there that's younger. I don't know that there is. I mean, I know we talked the other day about some free agents, and I mentioned that Beasley to you, Jay. He's a real good 3-point shooter. Was second in the league this year at 3-point, and he's up. He's a free agent. That's somebody they could definitely look at. But at that position with Van Fleet, I don't know. I don't know if there's an upgrade out there that they can go. So I think they may take the player option. I don't know about how they would extend the contract or not. It depends on the money, how far apart they are on the money. Chris, what do you think?
No, I agree. I think they'll probably end up keeping them because I don't know if they're, like you just said, I don't think there's going to be a better option available this year. And I'm not sure where their draft pick is. They're probably not going to have a high draft pick this year. So,
well, on that, they have a chance because they've got somebody else's pick.
We got Phoenix. We got Phoenix's first round picks this year.
They can get the first pick in the draft. I'm not saying the odds are great, but we know who they would take if they got the first pick in the draft.
Good point.
I would too.
I mean, could you imagine? I mean, we're not going to get him, but could you imagine what would be the chances of them pulling out Phoenix's chip in the lottery and we get bumped up to number 1 because we own the pick and we get Cooper Flag?
Yep.
Like that'd be some big play magic right there, man.
That'd be pretty nasty. Ain't gonna lie,
bro. If that happened, I would probably pass out. I'd probably call Gonzo and Chris and say, "Ah!" No, I wouldn't do that. I
remember that one day. That one day back in May.
Cooper Flag would be pissed.
I don't know. I think he would team up well with Udoka. Udoka is a physical kind of coach, and I think he would team up well with Udoka. I really do. Well, a lot of people don't really realize that, but Udoka came from the Popovich coaching tree. That guy knows how to coach. He really does, you know. And I think he'd be great for Cooper Flag.
I do want to throw this out here, Jay, because we didn't see him play really much at all in these playoffs, and that is your first round pick from this past year in Reed Shepherd.
Oh, Shepherd.
You think it's just maybe a defensive element because he is a shooter. He is a shooter. That's what he got selected to do, is to shoot the 3 ball. But we didn't see him. Do you think just his defensive liability or maybe his playmaking is just not up to par for the moment? On the team?
I totally agree. Because he really didn't play much during the regular season. We saw him in the preseason. You know, Reed Shepherd played the preseason, but he didn't play much in the regular season. And I gotta think, Logan, that maybe he just didn't have. Maybe there must have been something about his game that Udoka didn't feel comfortable with, and that he feels needs more development before he comes up the ranks. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that makes sense because he's a great 3-ball shooter. That's why we took him.
Yeah. But let's go back down to Glenn. Let's get his comments on the game here before we move on to the next one.
I do want to say, man, Houston's on the rise, and they're a year or so away from being at the top of the West, up there with Minnesota. I mean, granted, Minnesota is like what, the 60th or something like that, or 5th.
I think so.
That just stacked West. You guys gonna be at the top 3 in the coming years and stuff. But what you guys don't need to do, you all need to stay away from that old ass Kevin Durant.
God,
guys, trust me.
You don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that because outside of his championships with Golden State, you know, back when they had their big run, other than winning some scoring titles, you know, that dude ain't really done nothing. You know?
Well, too bad it's opposite Monday, Glenn. So whatever you say is opposite.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways,
he's definitely not going to the Lakers. Yeah.
No. Absolutely not.
We already got too many injured.
That
too many
game
injured
one of
bums.
that
Injured old
Cancun
guys.
championship
I
is tipping
just
off
want to
at
say
3.
that if Durant ever went to the Lakers, I would call Frankie and go.
You
Hey.
call me and laugh for no reason, because if that ever happens, I'm gonna say, "Why are you laughing?" I'm a
Yeah.
Rockets fan.
Oh.
Hey, this the opposite Monday, so that must mean I'm
Hey,
a
well,
Milwaukee fan or something.
Before we talk about the collective hometown team here for the bottom half of the panel, Frankie, want to give us an update, brother? How's the Cancun championship going? How are the Lakers looking in Cancun?
Well, the Lakers just beat the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah?
We're now in the lead 2-0. So they're actually eliminated right now, and they're waiting for the loser between they're waiting for the loser between the Rockets and the Clippers. And
The best of 3?
It's best of 5.
Okay. Oh, best of 5.
Yeah,
okay.
it's the best of 5. Yeah, but they canceled the third game because they don't show up. So we said the hell with it. We said the hell with it. So we're just gonna wait for whoever wins between the Rockets and the Clippers, and I'm expecting an all-out Cancun championship LA matchup between the Clippers and the Lakers, because I already know the Rockets are gonna lose to the Clippers in Cancun.
So they're playing the game while staying out there.
Thank you for a Cancun update.
We don't play games in sandals, Glenn. We play in this beautiful, sunny, burnt beach, bare feet, baby. That's how real men play. All right, we're like Top Guns over here. Okay, we play bare feet, shirts and skins, baby. That's how we do it over here.
Man, David, that's sure let me down on that source.
I gotta say, man, we need to stream that.
Nothing but big meaty men in Cancun. Don't worry. The Pacers will be here soon.
Well, it might take a little bit longer. It might take a little bit longer because they already got a win in their series against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the number 1 seed out there in Cleveland. They got the win last night, fellas. 121-112 overall. It's another Pacers, pretty much what I've seen all playoffs from them. Very balanced scoring, sharing the rock nicely, and overall just another really good performance. Also shot the hell out of the ball, 53% from the field, nearly 53% from 3 as well. So not a whole lot went wrong for Indiana. Glenn, you're our big super fan, so we'll give you the mic first.
No. I just want to quickly say something. Just quickly say something, and then Glenn can go. Tony, Chris, and Glenn, are you guys ready for this?
Yep.
I respect the Pacers.
Damn.
I respect. Wow. I give the Pacers.
So what he's saying is
respect. I really do.
He acknowledges us like the tribal chief. So yes.
Hey yo, I'm not. No. Hold on. You're going way too far now. You're going. Listen, you're on like Sola Sokoa tribal chief level right now. Okay. If you
taking it all, man.
If you want to go to the Roman Reigns tribal chief, if you want me to raise the finger up for you guys and truly respect you guys, I need you guys to beat Cavs, and then I need you guys to beat Boston. That's all I need. All right. I don't care if y'all win the finals or lose the final. I don't give a damn. But if you guys could beat the defending champion Boston Celtics, I'll treat the Pacers like they're Roman Reigns.
I will say right now, don't be surprised if that happens.
Glenn, what did you think of the game last night?
Actually not surprised. A buddy of mine that sits in the fan zone with us next to me, his name is Brody, and he asked me during the Fever game that took place before that game. He asked me, how we feeling about the Pacers today? And I replied to him pretty instantly and said, hey, we're taking game 1. So, and they took care of business. Nembhard took care of it. You know, the whole team took care of their stuff yesterday. And people are not too confident on Pacers taking game 2, but I think that we got a good chance to steal that one from them as well. And I'm going to pass this on to Tony and Chris.
Chris, good.
All right. No, I thought the game went a lot like I thought it was going to. I told you guys last week when after we advanced in the first round, I thought Pacers was going to win this series in 6. I actually saw a way I think they could win it. I think they could win it in 5, but I wouldn't going to get that bold. That's why I said 6. But if they play like they did last night, they're going to be tough for anybody to beat. And they haven't just. And last night isn't the only time they played like that. They've been playing like that all playoffs. If you look at the first series against the Bucks, they basically dominated that series. They played a bad second half, and the Bucks got the 1 win. And then the other game was a real tough, close game. But the other games, Pacers would led throughout. And even last night's game, we led most of that game.
I don't want to interrupt you, Chris, but I think the Pacers have been playing like this since the All-Star break.
Yes, you're right. Because since December 5th, they have the fourth best record in the NBA, and them and the Cavs actually had the identical record over the last like 50 games of the regular season. They were both like 34-16 or something. They had the identical record. Pacers got off to a slow start, or they probably would have been up there for the number 1 or 2 seed in the regular season. But at the beginning of the year, how we had some guys banged up. Once we got healthy, it's a totally different ballgame. Thing I liked the way the Pacers played last night is our assist. I mean, we just share the ball so well, and it makes it hard defensively. And then the other thing I thought was the key to the game was our defense. Yeah, we let them get a lot of points in the paint, but that was by design because we took away their 3-point shooting. They basically said, Mitchell, you can drive to the goal all you want and get the twos, but we're not going to let you get hot from 3. Yeah, and it worked out real well. I mean, last night was the first time in 83 games that the Cleveland Cavaliers haven't hit at least 10 3-pointers in a game. So I mean, our defense against the 3 was real well, and then like I said, we ended up with 30 assists as a team. So, but yeah, I'm real excited. I think we have a good chance of still in game 2 as well. But we done our job. We got home advantage now. We won that game 1 there in Cleveland. So if you get a split, you got to be happy. But I think we have a good chance to win Tuesday night, and then all the momentum would be with Indiana and all the pressure on Cleveland coming back to Indiana, where we've been real good all season, and especially in the playoffs.
I got 2 things before Tony goes. One, if you guys beat Cleveland in game 2 at Cleveland, I'm calling a sweep right then and there because there's no way in hell that Cleveland's gonna come into Indiana and with that fan base knowing that they're at home with the next 2 games up 2-0, it's gonna be tough for Cleveland. And we've seen Cleveland crumble in arenas when the fans are literally like at the top of their voice level. And 2, I love what Tyrese Halliburton came out and he said something about that because Chris mentioned it and I didn't want to cut him off again. Early in the season, they were slow because people were banged up. Tyrese Halliburton was asked of something about the regular season between the Cavs and the Pacers, and he said, "I don't care about what happened in the regular season between us and the Cavs because when we started off the season, we weren't healthy, and then when I came back and we played the Cavs, they weren't healthy. This time around in the playoffs at the perfect moment, both these teams are healthy, and you're seeing what could have been seen or what could have been happened in the regular season." So I love what Tyrese Halliburton said. He said, we're both healthy, and this is what you're getting. Tyrese Halliburton is a dog, bro, making histories on assists better than freaking Ice Trae Young over there.
Let me add one thing real quick before you go. And that's the other thing. This Athletic or whoever voted Tyrese Halliburton as the most overrated player in the NBA are stupid.
Hey, they don't like the East. They voted Trae Young last year.
That was from his peers.
Yeah, and it's crazy because look at this. He's the 3rd player ever to have 100+ points, 70+ assists, and 35+ rebounds through 6 games in a single playoff run. Guess who the other 2 guys are?
Magic Johnson.
It's got to be Stockton.
Magic Johnson done it 6 times, and Rajon Rondo done it once.
Wow.
You forget how good Rondo was, yeah.
2009, I believe.
And the Pacers are shooting 71 of 105. That's 68% off Halliburton's passes in the playoffs. But he's the most overrated. I'll tell you who's the most underrated player. I'll tell you the most underrated player is Tyler Nimhart, Andrew Nimhart.
He's your leading scorer.
He is so underrated. That dude, not only can he score,
underrated.
He can play great defense,
especially in the
playoffs.
But you know what's great about that, Chris, is that fueled Tyrese Halliburton up. He heard that he was the most overrated player, and he's like, wait, what? And he took that to heart. And now ever since that happened, we have seen a total different Tyrese Halliburton. You gotta love it, because I get that you're mad about it because what he's showing and stuff, but you also gotta love it because just like the people around the world are not giving the Indiana Pacers their respect, they're not giving Tyrese Halliburton their respect. And look what's happened. It's fueled them, and I would not be surprised if you guys do make it to the finals because of the fuel that's underneath them.
Yeah, what we're seeing right now is Tyrese 317 says, "I just whipped your ass," So
yeah, and Nimhard in this regular season only shoots about 29-30% from 3-point, but in the playoffs last year and this year he shoots like over 50. So he's a different player from 3-point line in the playoffs. So he's definitely stepped up. Definitely stepped up. One thing that stood out to me, one thing that we got to improve on is the offensive rebounding. They about doubled us up on the offensive rebounding. I think 15-7. So we got to do a better job there.
That's actually what kept Cleveland in the game, because there was a lot of times that we could get an offensive rebound,
and we did turn the ball over a little bit more too.
In the first half, quite a bit. Second half was a little better.
And the thing that stood out for me with Cleveland is, and this has got to change, or this series is not going to change for Cleveland. They had 2 players take 50 shots out of the 90 shots that they touched. Jerome.
I mean, look, let's be honest, though, right? I mean, you guys shot, and this is what's amazing. You guys shot 53% from the field, 52% from 3-point land. I mean, that's amazing. That's a team that to me is very, very hard to beat, especially when you're playing a team that gave you 45% shoot, which is not bad. When you're shooting 45% from the field, that's pretty respectable. The problem was 9 of 39 or 9 of 38 from 3-point land at 23.7%. You got to know, when it's not on for you. And I'm sorry, man. Hey, look, who was it? Donovan Mitchell. Bro, you're 1 for 11. Know when it's not there and give it to somebody else that is there, because it was not your night from 3-point land.
Well, like I said,
there's a lot of things that the Cleveland Cavaliers really got to straighten out. And it's really not so much the point shooting as it is that 3-point shooting. That 3-point shooting really hurt them terribly. 9 of 38. Come on, man. You can't win a damn game when you're 9 of 38.
I agree. But like I said, Mobley shot the ball 30 times, and Jerome, a bench player, shot 20 times. And Mobley, where was Mobley at? Mobley's one of their best players. He's got to step up.
Defense player of the year.
Yeah, if Cleveland's gonna go anywhere in this series, he's gonna have to step up for them. I'm hoping we can get game 2. We'll see. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a tough series. I predicted 7 games. I think it's still going to be a tough series.
So is the strength length or the schedule length kind of like round 1, or are you guys like is game 2 like in 2 days or something like that, or is it like round 1
Tuesday?
Yeah. It's
So
Tuesday,
so
game 2, game 3 Friday, game 4 Sunday, and I think it's Tuesday, Thursday after that. So
it's shortened except for the travel day, but it's shortened than round 1.
We get an extra travel day this round compared to the last round, I do believe. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, those are like I said, those 2 matchups last night, and Jay, unfortunately, me and Frankie on the couch here in Cancun, and we can cheer on Tony, Chris, and Glenn.
Logan, we don't.
Sorry, we're on the hammock. We're on the hammock.
We're on a hammock under the beautiful sun.
Right.
There's a beautiful
at the sea breeze
right next to me.
Hey, you know what though? Hey, we're gonna save a nice little blanket so Gonzo can roast out there in the sand when he gets here.
All I know is it's great here in Cancun.
Oh yeah, you're not getting the hammock, Gonzo. Tony,
No.
you're not getting the hammock. That thing's already spoken for. You should have got here earlier.
Hopefully it's going to be about 6 weeks before we get there. We're going to have a trophy with it.
yeah.
Hey, you and the Lakers both, right?
We might let you on our island to celebrate while we're holding our trophy.
Yeah. I'll be sure to have Tyrese come down with his
That's what you're going to be holding, Chris. You're going to be holding these. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's it. You're going to put a Mai Tai in the context.
If you decide to come to Cancun.
All I know is my team won the number 2 seed in the West and was already sitting at home.
No, your team was number. Okay, look, you went. You know what?
Look at Gonzo taking a shot.
Hey, there's not you can say. Jay, there's not you can say.
Just take it, Jay.
You know what? All right.
Get no respect. Get no respect. Not even with the T. It's so bad. Gonzo said it's with the K. No respect.
Before we move on. Yeah, because we also had a Saturday game 7, Denver Nuggets versus LA Clippers. Obviously, we weren't live because we're not live on the weekend.
Oh, that's fine. I forgot about that one.
And now they're setting up for a match with OKC tonight at 9:30
Denver
Eastern.
Nuggets versus OKC tonight. But real quickly before we talk about that, because it's going to be really interesting, what did you guys think about the Clippers and Denver Nuggets? I was a little surprised. I expected a closer game, but I'm not surprised because, of course, James Harden didn't show up in a game 7 when needed to be. Jay, I said something to Jay last week because, he mentioned James Harden not showing up for one game. And I said, listen, you got to give him a pass. It's one game. He's been showing up every other game. But listen, when it's game 7.
Frankie, what I tell you about James, Frankie?
When it's game 7, you need to show up. This isn't the first time, James Harden, that you did not show up.
You don't
this
show
is
up, Frankie.
ridiculous. I am sick of James Harden not showing up when the moment matters the most. And this isn't the first time. Jay has been through it as well. OKC has been through it as well. James Harden, you are done, sir. You're going to go down in history as the Saquon Barkley of our era right now. That's what's going to happen. You got the stats. You got the playoff matches. You got the games. You got the wins. Cool. But you're going to end your life and your career in basketball ringless unless you get married. That's the only ring you're going to have on your fingers.
But I don't know if you can talk about Saquon. If you want to say that Saquon didn't show up in the Super Bowl, because let's be honest, Saquon only had 36 yards rushing. He didn't have a lot of rushing yards. Saquon really didn't show up rushing.
Why are you talking about football right now?
You said Saquon.
You said Saquon Barkley.
I said James Harden.
Charles.
No,
Charles.
No, don't try to play this off now.
You said Saquon.
No, you said Saquon. You saw our faces.
Just let him know with it. Let him make a fool out of himself. Go ahead, Frankie.
He said Saquon.
He can watch the replay.
Listen. I'm in Cancun smoking, all right? I'm high. I'm smoking this Cancun shit, all right? I meant to say Charles Barkley. I apologize.
All right.
I was on a little rant. I'm
I
sorry,
hope it's
guys.
not Reggie.
How you get
man, you know.
Sims in Cancun, but apparently you still got faith in Sims.
Charles. I meant to say Charles. I apologize, everybody.
Okay, all good. I'll give my thoughts here. Get it back on track.
I got confused for a minute. I'm like, wait, why is Jay talking about Saquon?
Yeah. But I'm gonna.
Jay Biden moment.
Frankie
Biden
moment.
Had a Frankie Biden moment. Damn it.
Yeah. Hey, it's fine. We all get past.
Hey, it's Cinco de Mayo. Damn it, in Cancun.
There you go. But for the Clippers, look, I thought Kawhi honestly played well the whole series. He looked good. He looked healthy. If it wasn't for him, this would have been over a while ago. Kawhi did good. Zubac, damn good player at the center spot there. But like you said, I mean, their bench, I don't really, they got some names, but they aren't really, super they're not where they used to be, right? They're all older. Harden, 2 of 8. He only got 7 points. Granted, he did get 13 assists, but we don't want you to get assists, man. We want you to get points. You're a shooter, right? You're one of the best 3-point shooters all time. But that was just tough. And for Denver, I got to tip my hat to Denver. Firing your coach a week before the playoffs and you still make it this far, I think all of us thought you were insane. Yeah. And you were going to get bounced. Because this is a good Clippers team. Let's not get it twisted. This is a good team. They brought fans from the wall in, for this game. But, obviously it's working. They're moving on to the next round. Now, you're running into a juggernaut there in OKC, who is a lot of people's favorites to win the whole damn thing. And it's going to be a tough matchup. But where I'm interested to look at in this matchup for however many games it goes, I think it'll go deep, maybe 6 or 7.
I don't
For me, it's going to be, can OKC stop Jokic? Because no one really can. It's more so, can you stop him from getting triple doubles every night, and can you limit their shooting, their 3-point shooting? Right. That's the big factor. And granted, these two teams know each other, obviously both being in the West, and they've had some good matchups, over the years and this year also. But I think it's going to be good, and we're getting to see 2 MVPs, go at it, and SGA and then Jokic. So I'm going to be glued watching this one because we're going to see a lot of good basketball in this one here.
Yeah, one of the things I want to point out too is I thought for the second time in a row now, Russell Westbrook actually shot 50%. Very un-Westbrook-like. 5 of 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3-point land, 10 boards, 6 assists, 14 points. Very, very close to another triple-double with a 50% field goal percentage. That's very un-Westbrook-like. I mean, he's actually playing his better basketball now than he has in a long time in terms of field goal percentages. And he's doing it from the bench, and he's actually doing quite well and helping them out from that bench. Michael Porter Jr., hey, you need, 2 of 5, 24 minutes. He's really the only one that really didn't have a very impactful game. But Murray, everybody else, this Denver Nuggets team, even without a coach, man, I mean, they still have a championship pedigree. I mean, they're not too far removed from the NBA championship. So, I think some of that experience is coming into play, even though they did fire their coach, right?
I hear what you say about Russell Westbrook, and I feel like he had to play like that because he was going up against a team that actually traded him away. Let's not forget they traded him to, I think it was Sacramento, and then oh no, it was Portland or something like that, and then he did a buyout.
Utah.
Oh yeah, God,
Yeah,
Utah.
and then he ended up doing a buyout, and then he signed with Denver. So having the chance to face the team that didn't believe in you in the playoffs and you get to eliminate them, he had fury in that. Because I've seen it when we got rid of him, right? And he went to the Clippers. He used to come back and play the Lakers in Crypto.com Arena, and he will have a different flair to him that I was like, okay, where the hell was this when you were with us? It's because you don't believe in that, So he came out with that fire, but I don't expect him to be like that now because, and I heard what Logan said as well. Listen, if you're OKC, you're going to let Joker do whatever Joker does, right? As long as you can stop everybody else, you're not going to be able to stop Joker. There's no one I don't think there's no one, unless you're like Dwight Howard or something, that can stop Joker right now. You're going to let Joker do what he does. He's going to get his triple-double. But if you can stop everybody else, I still think that OKC can finish this in 4. They can sweep the Denver Nuggets, or they can finish this in 5 games. And the only reason I say that is because OKC is young and they are fast. I feel like they're the one team that can literally get a rebound and head it to the other side of the court before Joker can even get to half court. That's how fast I think OKC is. And if OKC could continue that route against Denver, I don't think Denver's going to be able to catch up with them.
How do you think Westbrook does against his old team? Because OKC was like the original team for him. So now he's going up against OKC, his original team. You don't think he gears up to play for that?
I don't think so. I think because he had his time in OKC. It's not like OKC traded him, right? He left when he was a free agent, so it was his decision to leave OKC. And he had that moment, right, where he was with a different team. It wasn't a playoff moment. It was a regular season moment where he went back to OKC and he played a different type of style of basketball. But like I said, Jay, from the time from when he was last in OKC to the time now, OKC is really young and they are really fast. I don't think Russell Westbrook can keep up with SGA. I really don't.
Okay.
Chris and Tony?
We'll see. Yeah, Chris, Tony.
Yeah, I think OKC is going to win the series in 6. I think Denver steals a couple, but I'm going to go with OKC in 6 is what I think. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think what really hurt the Clippers in that game against Denver real quick was Norman Powell didn't show up either. Powell had been big in that series, and he didn't show up, and Harden didn't show up. Neither one of them had very good games. I actually think the Nuggets are going to win this series against OKC. I think the Nuggets experience is going to be big. If you look at these, I know regular season don't mean a whole lot, but they played 4 times in the regular season. They split 2-2. So both teams have had some success against each other. So no team's going in thinking the other team has a big advantage that way. I just think Jamal Murray is going to be the difference in the series because I think Jokic is going to get his. But I think Murray's going to have one of his breakout playoff series like he is known to have. He had a decent series the first series, but I think this series he's going to play a lot better. So I'm going to go with the Nuggets in 7.
He's going to have to play better. Like I said, this is a young, fast-paced team, and he's going to have to step up like the Jamal Murray we know before his injury.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to have to keep up with them, and it's not Jokic. It's not.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick.
Maybe Aaron Gordon, because for a big man, Aaron Gordon is fast.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and we saw how well he played in this past series. He had one of the best endings ever, obviously, with that putback at the end. But other than that, he looked really sharp that entire series, honestly.
Yeah, it's not better than LeBron's putback against the Pacers. Boom! I don't care about Aaron Gordon. Glenn, what you got about that series, man? What you got about this series, Glenn?
So pretty much the only other team that can outpace the Pacers and based on the games they play against the league this year is Oklahoma City, man. Oklahoma City can get out there and run and do their thing, man. So, however, I do think this series goes 7 with Oklahoma City getting the job done.
Okay.
God, you guys you all think this is gonna go like a good lengthy round?
Yeah,
this is 2 really good teams.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be
I
probably the most entertaining series besides Indiana and Cleveland.
We all got our own thoughts and theories. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Other game tonight, we'll just briefly talk about this one and wrap up the show here. In the East, We got the New York Knicks, Boston Celtics going at it. First game's going to be tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern at TD Garden. You know the fans in Boston are going to be ready to go.
I am so pumped for this series. Like, listen, living in New York, there's nothing better than having a playoff matchup between the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Everything I'm hearing walking around the streets, everything I'm hearing in sports stores and supermarkets and everything. Listen, the New York Knicks fans, ladies and gentlemen, they are ready. All right, they want Boston. They want this series. They feel like they can compete with Boston. And you know what I'm doing, y'all? I'm laughing at their faces because they're crazy. They must be higher than I am because there's no way the Knicks are going to keep up. They're not going to keep up with the Boston Celtics, okay? They might get one game, hype up the fans. Woo, yeah, you might, cool. Either you tie the series or you take the series, the one-game series lead, but you're not going to beat the Boston Celtics. Like, I'm sorry. Pacers might beat the Boston Celtics next round, but the Boston Celtics are going to smoke the New York Knicks, and there's only one reason and one reason only, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Kristaps Porzingis, a player who got drafted by the New York Knicks, who got booed by the fans when he got drafted. A team that did not believe in him and went and traded him quick before his rookie contract was even up with the New York Knicks. You telling me he's not going to be in there and have fire in his belly saying this is the team that didn't believe in me, and now I have the chance to knock them out of the playoffs and end their season and send them to Cancun where Frankie and Logan and Jay
He might go
and
for
soon to be
60
Chris,
tonight,
Tony,
man.
and Glenn are going to be? The Kristaps Porzingis is going to come out with fire tonight. I expect him to dominate Karl Anthony Towns. I expect him to dominate Madison Square Garden, and I expect him to shut the Madison Square Garden New York Knicks fans up. Okay, what's this guy's name? Spike Lee, sit your ass down. Stephen A. Smith, sit your ass down. What's that other dude's name? Ben, the dude from freaking Ben Stiller, sit your ass down. All right, Ben
Jerry
Stiller,
Seinfeld,
Stephen
sit your ass down.
Spike Lee,
Larry David.
It don't matter. Boston in 5.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go real quick. Mine will be super quick. I definitely have Boston in 5. I don't know that the Knicks are going to have anywhere near enough to compete. Brunson's a great hell of a player, man. I like Karl Anthony Towns. But outside of that, I mean, I just don't think they can handle the bench, and I don't think they can handle the 3-point shooting and points. I mean, the whole 9. I mean, everything that Boston is just going to be way too much for the Knicks. Honestly, let's be honest. They honestly really shouldn't have got past Detroit. And if you're struggling as hard as you've struggled with Detroit, could you imagine what Boston's going to do to you?
Boston's going to lap their ass like somebody in the Indy 500, so.
Bruh.
And Boston, what's crazy about Boston, y'all, is they got shooters, Mike White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, cool. But let's not forget the big guys can shoot threes as well. Porzingis is a good 3 shooter. Al Horford, who's way past his prime, is still
He's like
shooting
LeBron
threes.
age.
He's in his prime. It's crazy. So the New York Knicks are not going to be able to compete with Boston because listen, you got all these guys who are great 3 shooters, but they're not going to be able to compete. I'm sorry, Chris and Tony, just go, Chris and Tony.
Just go ahead. I kind of agree with Frankie. I think it's going to be Boston in 5 as well. I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to stay with. I don't think the Knicks bench has enough depth. Some of the changes they've made just hasn't worked out. I think they were a better team last year than what they are this year, and they made those trades to get Towns and stuff. And I mean, I think it's worked out for them some, but I just don't believe in Thibodeau's coaching style in the playoffs. It's hard to go deep in a playoff run and win when you're only using 6 guys and the guys start getting more out and get banged up. So I think plus I'll be honest, for selfish reasons, because I do think the Pacers are going to beat the Cavs. I want the Celtics to win this series. I want that rematch from last year when we got swept by the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'm hoping I think Celtics win in 5.
Chris is in my heart right now because I swear, if Chris wasn't gonna say that, I was gonna come in and say, ladies and gentlemen, long story short, what Chris is trying to say is he's 1 game in against the Cavs, but he's saying we want Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do want Boston.
And I think the Pacers team does. I think what happened last year. I think that's been a lot of motivation. I think they want that rematch.
Yes, I know they do.
I kind of agree with you guys. I kind of agree with you guys, but I do think, and you guys will probably think I'm crazy. I think the Knicks are going to get 2 games, so I think it's going to go 6.
Boston sweeping. Derek White's gonna go crazy.
You coming in with the sweep?
Yeah. Okay. Derek White's gonna go crazy. Kristaps Porzingis is gonna have a game where he goes for 50 or more, and Boston gets it done. Yeah, 50.
No fries. Okay.
This is the first time. This is the first time I heard Glenn change. Like he went from like a hillbilly accent to a accent. Like he changed that accent so quick. Like he's like he came in with his little hillbilly accent, right? He's going Celtics in 4, and then he quickly changed it. Like Kristaps Porzingis is gonna come in. He's gonna have 50.
I'm not gonna lie. That was the first time I've ever heard Glenn speak so clearly that I didn't need captions.
Yeah, I do tend to give the closed caption people a hard time. So
yeah, that Tyrese Halliburton using a couple different voices.
Yeah.
Hey, shapefish, baby, let's go.
For me,
I love Glenn. I do. I love Glenn, but sometimes when Glenn talks to me, I'm saying, "Can you just text that, please?"
Yeah, I'll be sure to pass that over in the group chat.
Yeah, for me, I'm with the majority of the group here. I'm gonna go with the Celtics winning this series. Give me them 5. I mean, look, they're just a complete team. Obviously, you're coming off championship, and they haven't skipped a beat all season. And we mentioned all the great shooting, right? But this is still one of the best defensive teams in the league. I mean, all around 1 through 5, they have guys who can guard, right? Tatum. We talked about Tatum being, a great player, MVP caliber player, but I mean, he can get it on both ends. He really can. Jaylen Brown is an elite defender. I mean, you mentioned Horford, who is a vet, but he can still play solid defense if need be. I mean, they're benched. You got Derek White, who's that spark plug you want off the bench, or he can even fill in the start if you need to. He's done it before. And then you got the head coach, Joe Mazzulla, who has just worked wonders out there in Boston. And I mean, whenever who was the guy they had fired years ago? That was a really good head coach. That he didn't get fired, but he went into the front office.
Brad Stevens.
Brad Stevens, yeah. I thought under those teams that Boston might get a chip, right? And I think they went to 1 finals, but they didn't win it.
See, I said the same thing. They didn't believe in me, Logan.
I thought that Stevens was like, the next guy up, right, in terms of coaching, because that's what they led you to believe, that, he was a hot shot. But once he went to the front office, it feels like he just got even better. They got a chip last year, and they've looked great this year. Now, I think that the Knicks are, like I said, obviously they're a good team. They're the reason they get this far. I think that, like I said, Karl-Anthony Towns, that's been a big addition for them this season. And Jalen Brunson, my God, the Dallas Mavericks must just be kicking themselves every day. They see this guy drop 30 or 40, saying, man, wonder what we had. But I agree with something that you said, Tony, and the fact that this coaching style doesn't work really anymore. If you run your players just dog tired, yeah, they're going to be in good shape, but what if 4 of the 6 guys aren't hitting shots? I mean, you're not playing the other guys really. You just got to hope and pray they can come in there and do something off the bench. So I think that I'm going to go with Boston this one. I'll give me Boston in 5 as I just kind of continue to dominate teams. They only allowed against the Magic. I looked at the series again. They only allowed 100 points in 1 game. And that was right at 100. So, I mean, they were just stuffing them left and right, and I could easily see them doing that against New York. So those are my thoughts on this one.
The one player that people should look out for is on the Celtics, last name Pritchard.
Oh, Peyton Pritchard, yeah. I mean, just another guy who can just get points like nothing. And play good defense.
I would have said Derek White because we've seen what he can do as well.
I mean, yeah, both of them really. Yeah, they're both solid players. Yeah. Any of us teams.
Yeah, during the East Finals last year, it seemed like every time down the court, I kept hearing his name, Derek White for 3.
Yeah,
it's like, wow.
I would say, I think you had nightmares about him.
Oh yeah, we do, because when I came back from Charlotte for Game 4 last year, man, when they swept us, man, I kept hearing Derek White.
Get out of my head. But yeah, I mean, he was obviously a big factor last year, and he's looking like it again this year. But I think we got some good games though, guys. We got some great. We had a good first round for the most part, right? We had the easy ones, but for the majority, I mean, a lot of really solid matchups. But now we're getting, I think, a real meat and potatoes type situation here before we get to the finals, or the conference finals, and it's going to be great. So I'm looking forward to it. And, like I said, two just juggernauts going at it with OKC and with Denver, and then of course we just mentioned the Boston matchup. But I'm looking forward to see how these two are going to go. And Glenn, I know you're going to keep. Are you going to any of the games, by the way, during this Pacers series?
Yeah, I'm in the fan zone, so I get tickets to every game.
All right, well, and of course Glenn will be there live giving us previews.
I get tickets to every game. I'm special.
Hey, what's wrong with you, Logan? You cheap person. Don't you have tickets to every game?
No, I don't.
I'm such a special guy. I get special tickets.
Yes. Yeah, we get the special, all right. We had to try out for them.
He just come out like nothing. Like, oh yeah, I'm in the fan club. I'm in the fan section.
Logan, Logan, you know I'm in the fan zone. You know I'm at every game.
I know, man. You got
I'm
the gear.
I'm like the guy in the green shirt at WWE event. People go for my autograph because I got a pink fedora and sunglasses. Come on, Logan.
Hey, Glenn, you got to bring the championship to one of these games. You got to get a photo with you.
Yes,
get the skip right
most
here.
Definitely.
Got to get your sunglasses, your Vipers on, and you'll be good to go.
Yes, most definitely.
You got Chris Antonio over there, like thinking. I know that they're thinking, like, damn, he's in the fan section. He gets like. I know for a fact you don't go to every game. Give me a goddamn ticket. I know you don't go to every game. Give me a ticket to the one you go to. I'll sit in the damn fan section during the playoff game.
Yeah.
Oh, he says just the Rockets are eliminated. He's done watching basketball.
Hey, I don't blame you, Joe. It's hard, man. Once our teams are out, it is hard, but we still watch. Real quick, hey, though, tonight, though, in NHL, Florida Panthers versus the Maple Leafs.
Everyone gives a shit about the NHL.
Jesus.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm letting you know, Glenn.
Hey, that's from Frankie, not from Glenn.
That's some Frankie the Yankee shit rubbing off on him over there. I would have said that too.
Glenn, you've been here too long.
Hey Jay, your team, I just seen they're predicting, they're saying Dallas is the favorites to win it all now.
Hell, heck, great win.
Well, I mean, it wasn't too far fetched to think that. I know we had Rolly Quacked on the other night. Cody was on the other day on the afternoon show way back, at least a little while back. And he was saying that whoever came out of the Avalanche Stars series would take it at least to the finals, and then probably meet up with, I don't know who he picked. He may have picked Tampa Bay, I think it may have been.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, we have a good shot. We still got to play Vegas. I'm pretty sure Vegas and us will be going at it again to see who gets to that, represents the West, right? So I would be surprised to get past Tony.
First, you got to get past Winnipeg.
Yeah, Winnipeg, but you guys were lucky. You guys got lucky to win that game last night. You guys were down like 3-0 or 3-1 or something like that with like 2 minutes left, and you guys tied it up and went to overtime.
I'm about to say, he scored with like, I think, 1.3 seconds on the clock, I believe. Like,
you guys were very
ending. Yeah,
that
but
was
hey, I mean, that's what the teams do.
Blues game 7 on Saturday.
We got the W. Is that what you're telling me? You say we got the W.
Jay, let me ask you a real question.
Okay.
Let me ask you a real question, Jay. Did you watch one game of that 7-game series? Did you watch?
I was watching the Rockets. I was watching the Rockets.
He was locked in on the Rockets.
He was too busy watching another losing team.
There was games where the Rockets weren't playing and the Stars were.
Look at this. Watch this. Watch this. Hey, watch this. You got the peanut gallery who hasn't won shit in centuries. Gets one game in Cleveland, and all of a sudden has the audacity to call us losers. Okay, Cincinnati Reds, you just sit over there and be quiet.
Hey, Tony, Chris, we're going at it tonight in Atlanta. We're going at it.
Yep.
Best of 4. We'll see how it goes.
Kick their ass. Logan, if you don't win tonight,
me and you both. My team's a little bit rough right now. I ain't gonna lie. We're a little down the dumps, but hey, that's just how it goes. That's how it goes sometimes.
We're inconsistent like usual.
Hey, you think Tito can still is he still the right answer? You think still too young too early in the year to wave the white flag?
So. Yeah, I think he's going to be the right guy because we got off to a slow start. Started 2-5, but since then we're playing over 500 baseball.
Yeah.
And with Tito so far, you're not seeing all the base running mistakes and a lot of the shit that we saw last year. It is clean. We've had a couple, but it has been cleaned up a lot more than last year so far.
Don't change the batting order every day.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We don't have a different fucking batting lineup every game. Last year, our batting lineup would our leadoff batter the next day might be batting ninth. Like David Bell's just an order every game.
Just something different. You didn't know what to expect.
Only thing that worries me a little bit right now is Austin Hayes has been pounding the ball, and he had to go on IL with a hamstring bothering him a little bit, but it don't sound like it's serious. So
a little 15-day IL action. He'll be back soon.
I mean, our pitching staff is like fourth in baseball right now, ERA wise. So our pitching's been good.
Hopefully that can balloon this week.
And we're starting to hit the ball, and we've been hitting the ball a lot better after the first 7 games. So I like where we're at.
Did you hear that?
My biggest concern is we got to figure out what we're going to do at the closer spot. That's to me our biggest concern.
Yeah. We gave away that game against San Francisco last month, man, where we hit a grand slam. Then the next time the Giants went up, they took the lead back, and we ended up losing in extra innings and stuff, So, but yeah, David Bell, his lineup changed last year as far as the batting order, like a killed AEG, not knowing what the heck he wants for lunch, So
I got you. Yeah. But hey, like I said, we're still early in the baseball season. Once we get the All-Star break, we're definitely going to talk more baseball. I think it's just for all of us, first half, we love watching it. It's just fun to see. I hope your team doesn't suck too much, Atlanta. But after the All-Star break, that's where it all kind of starts going downhill, and we'll see who's going to be legitimate and who's not. But we're getting closer and closer to it. We just started May, so we still got a little bit for the All-Star break in early July, I believe. So a little bit of time left there. But guys, any final thoughts here before we can wrap up the show on this Monday?
I'm good.
Yeah, real quick.
Hey Jay, the Reds have a better record than Astros as well.
Yeah, you knew it was coming.
I like how it took you about 4 tries to get that out of your mouth because you didn't believe it. But that's okay. You want to try to say that one more time.
He said, "I gotta check it here."
He said, "Whoa, Jason, what I'm trying to tell you."
He was trying to take that out like he was starting a lawnmower,
Yeah.
No, I love Gonzo. I love Gonzo. I'm not gonna mess with Gonzo. That man takes chest slaps.
Again, a little slow. Oh.
Well, as long as you recognize it, but no.
I had moments MVP.
Hey, listen, real quick. First of all things football from a lady's perspective, man. Hey, we appreciate you shared it. She said 120 times. Hey, look, I appreciate that. Yeah, hey, look, we really appreciate that, man. That means a lot to us. And if you don't mind hopping over to YouTube and giving us a little like and subscribe on that thing, we love that too. Secondly, man, just one last time, man. I just want to pay my last respects, man, to Linda. Again, our hearts are with you. I know this isn't an easy time for you and your family, obviously, and we are there for you, with you. And we love Mac to death, and rest in peace, brother.
Yep, I share that sentiment with you there. And like I said, it's been on a great show, I think, today, and in honor of his memory. But guys, any other final thoughts? Tony, Chris, Frankie, Big Glenn, before we wrap up the show here today?
Go Pacers.
None at all.
All right, that sounds good. Well, guys, that has been our Monday show, the afternoon show, the May 5th show. Look at that. We've already made it.
Logan.
Yes, Jay.
We did forget one thing though.
Oh,
hey, I do want to send out one more time. May 9th at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Makes My Blood Dance. We'll be on the Whiskey Hour. You can find it right here at ESEN on the Whiskey Hour podcast. If you don't know where that's at, you just click that little link tree that's in the description. It'll take you there. May 9th at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a really good time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see you guys there.
Yeah, it's going to be a great interview, and we're looking forward to chatting those guys up, talking about their life on the road and what they got coming up in the future. But that's for Friday. Still on Monday, so we got some days in between. Appreciate everyone for coming out today, for going into the comments section, for sharing, for liking, for commenting, everything along those lines. To the panel here, Jay, Tony, Chris, Frankie, Big Glenn, myself. Guys, hope you enjoyed the show today. Great work as always. And until tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern, you already know it's time for the afternoon show. We will see y'all then.
Bye.